Hi, I'm Jeff Gonzalez, president of Trident Concepts, and today I'm here with Brownell's Daily Defense to talk to you about on the waistband versus in the waistband holster conditions. So on the waistband, in the waistband, what's the better choice? Well, a lot of times that's going to be an individual personal preference, but let's talk about why one might be better over than the other. So the first thing I talk about is if I'm looking to carry a firearm for concealment, the better option would be the in the waistband. It does a better job of concealing the firearm because it's going to take the slide and a good chunk of the firearm and stick it inside of our pants, really leaving the grip portion of the frame exposed, which means that all I really have to do is just cover it with a t-shirt or some sort of polo, whatever wardrobe consideration that I want on top of that. Whereas an on the waistband means that it's on my waistband. I have to conceal the entire firearm. So not just the firearm, but also the holster. So if I were to consider concealment as my prime directive, then the inside the waistband would certainly be a better choice. When it comes to comfort, this is where the on the waistband has a slight edge. And the reason for that is, number one, the firearm is being placed outside of the body. When it's placed outside of the body, it's going to be a lot more comfortable, particularly for those that are just learning about concealed carry. One of the other things that we consider in our choice is going to be our lifestyle. So if my lifestyle has me carrying inside the waistband, what that's going to mean is I'm going to have to take a look at my wardrobe, and I'm going to have to probably expand the waistline in my pants, shorts, or whatever I'm wearing, simply because now I have to take that firearm and holster and place it inside my pants, which means that you're probably not going to have enough real estate to do that. So if you push the issue, it's going to be nice and tight, which then could become a comfort issue. If not, then you're going to have to update your wardrobe to accommodate for the inside the waistband. So when it comes to comfort, that's why the on the waistband has a slight edge, simply because I'm not having to place that package inside of my pants, making it potentially a little bit uncomfortable. When it comes to my wardrobe considerations, again, I have to consider putting the firearm inside my pants means that I'm probably going to have to look at the next size up in not just my pants, but also my belt. I need to consider that my belt needs to have enough flexibility to accommodate putting something else inside of my pants. But the one other pro to an inside the waistband that we sometimes overlook is the fact that I have, depending on the make and model, a tuckable option. What that means is that I can place the firearm inside of my pants, and then I can take my shirt and I can actually tuck it over the firearm, but underneath the clips of the holster. And what that'll do is that'll give me the appearance of having my shirt tucked in with the gun inside of my pants. That is a really nice option, particularly if I work in an environment where I really want to be discreet about the fact that I am carrying a firearm. Now, whichever choice that you go with, my recommendation is to start with the Strongside on the waistband. And the reason behind that is practice. Whichever method you decide to pursue, it's very important that you practice your draw stroke. This is going to help you to complete that presentation from the holster to the target in the most efficient manner possible. So one of the other issues that we talk about is as I'm learning the draw stroke, there's a lot of moving parts to this. I want to practice in a safe manner, which means I'm going to start with an unloaded firearm. But as I work up to live fire, what I have to acknowledge is that when I place the firearm on my waistband, should I have an accidental discharge, which means that as I'm going into the holster or as I'm drawing the gun from the holster, I inadvertently start to place pressure on the trigger, firing the shot before I'm on target. If that were to happen with an on the waistband, I have the firearm a little bit further away from my body than I would if it were inside the waistband. So if it's on the waistband, what I typically can look at is I can look at a minor injury. I don't want to downplay the fact that it's a gunshot wound. It, of course, is a bad thing, but as far as the medical condition of that wound is concerned, it's more than likely going to be on the minor side. However, when I place the firearm inside of my waistband, the likelihood of elevating from a minor to a major injury is very high. So the practice is going to be very important, and practicing from Strongside in the beginning is going to help build in a default safety net, if you will. Now, the last thing we talk about with regards to your selection of inside the waistband versus outside the waistband has to do with safety. And as you're starting out in this new journey, one of the things that I recommend is to start with the Strongside. And the reason behind that is that it just has a higher degree of safety. It's not saying, I'm not saying that you can't have an accidental discharge with an on the waistband versus an in the waistband, but it typically starts off on a much safer platform. But in the end, really what we're talking about here is having both. If you have both, then you can allow the situation to dictate which is going to be the best holster for the conditions that you're going to be living in at that moment. So if you look at your everyday lifestyle, as every day changes, you can change with it. All right, I'm Jeff Gonzalez. If you have any questions or comments, please feel free to post them down below. Until then, take care and stay safe.